The creatures in this simulation can evolve their brains and bodies. They need to collect energy from plants and other creatures in order to survive and reproduce. They can have eyes, mouths and spikes for hurting other creatures. The behavior is determined by a recurrent neural network, with an input layer, an output layer, and a hidden layer where the actual computation happens. First, sensors feed inputs like touch, vision, whether someone is trying to mate, and some random noise into the input layer. Then the neurons in the input layer send that information to the hidden layer, which does something with that information and sends it to the output layer. The value of these output neurons can then be read and used to control the creature. The output layer always has neurons specifying rotation and movement forward. The other neurons specify the movement of the mouths and the spikes, if the creature has any. Information on how to build a creature is stored in the genome. The genome for the body structure was inspired by Karl Sims' evolution simulation. A mutation can lead to the change of the function, size, color, or shape of the body part. The brain is built from a square matrix, which stores the strength of a connection from one neuron to another. This makes cloning and combining brains easy. When a mutation occurs, the strength of these connections can be altered, or the brain can shrink or grow. Reproduction can be sexual or asexual. When a creature has enough energy to reproduce, asexual reproduction just produces a mutated copy of the parent. In order to reproduce sexually, it first has to find a suitable mate, according to a fitness function. This is a function that tells how attractive a creature is. It then moves towards this mate and combines their genetic material. You can't add walls yet when sexual reproduction is enabled, because the creatures can't have sex through walls yet. In this step you can also change what creatures are attracted to, so that you can indirectly design them. Interactions between creatures rarely happen. Carnivores always die out quickly, and the simulation always converges to a simple population of herbivores collecting plants. More complicated creatures do form, but quickly die out. There also doesn't seem to be a relation between the size of the brain and the complexity of the behavior. Some causes may be the fact that there is little interaction between organisms. Interaction is only possible through mating and fighting currently. If there's more interaction, creatures will constantly adapt to each other, leading to new survival strategies. Another problem is that not everything can evolve. The genetic code of this simulation is fixed. It can only describe creatures of this current form, but it cannot, for example, change the way in which the brain works. These aren't the only causes, but focusing on these two is the aim of the next version. It is really hard to make a simulation where creatures keep evolving in new and interesting ways. The necessary and sufficient ingredients for such a simulation are not known. This is still an open problem in artificial life research. I'm currently trying to make an even more simplified evolution model so that I can throw mathematics at it and really understand what's going on. I don't think that adding more and more rules to this simulation will produce unbounded evolution, but I will still add features because it's really fun to play with. I'm almost done with the next version, where I implemented a new brain type, long short-term memory, which should be able to create memories. I also added the genome for plants and an energy cycle. This new version won't be online yet, because now the simulation always ends up in a huge orgy of death, which totally ruins the frame rate.